Welcome to the Real Mama Pod.
I'm your host, Devon.
And I'm your host, Kendra.
We are real moms.
Sharing real experiences. The things people don't tell you.
Hey, mama, hey.
Hey, Mama, hey.
How you doing, friend?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, too, I guess.
If this is your first time listening, I'm your host, Kendra.
And I'm your host, Devon. Welcome to the Real Mama Pod.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
So we have a guest.
We do.
Who do we have?
We have a returning guest.
We have a returning guest. That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Our self-care queen
Yes.
is here, sitting on her throne. Applemania.
Yes.
Out of the ATL, living in the ATL, but from Polk County, Florida.
That's right.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Thank
Welcome
you guys.
back.
Thank you.
How you
ladies.
doing?
Progressing.
There we
Okay.
go.
I like that.
Progressing.
I like that.
I'm going to start using that as a
Yeah.
response because sometimes
Progressing.
life is not always giving us the cards that we want them to. So we just say we're just progressing.
Yeah.
Progressing.
True. I like that.
And one of my students taught me that.
Oh, okay.
And you teach
I
first.
teach first grade, but she's in fourth grade. So she came by one morning and she said, Miss B, how you feeling this morning? I said, I'm here. She said, me too. Progressing. I said, progression, not perfection, right? So every morning we make it our business to tell each other we're progressing.
Oh,
Love that.
A
Which means
fourth
no
grader
matter-
told you that?
A fourth grader
Fourth
told me
grader.
that.
Wow.
So
wise beyond her years.
you're wise.
They're so insightful. Oh, I love that.
Thank
I'm
you
gonna
guys
have to
for
steal
having
that.
me back.
I
Yes,
know.
welcome, welcome.
Excited.
Okay, so for those who've missed your episode last year around this time,
Yes.
because we did a whole self-care awareness episode because September is self-care awareness month. But anyway, anywho, for those who may not be familiar with you, can you please tell us your journey to mamahood?
Yes. So, again, I'm Applemania, and I was blessed to become a mother almost 12 years ago. He'll be 12 this upcoming month.
Can't believe that.
And I was pregnant in my mid-20s, you know, still learning who I was. Your 20s are your selfish years, ladies. But of course, there's no type of manual to motherhood, and there's still no manual to motherhood. You just do, right? And you just go through the phases and all of that. So here I am, 38 with a 12-year-old. I'll be 39 actually, but and I'm still navigating motherhood. It has been a remarkable journey. There has been a lot of trials and tribulations along the way, but it's the most rewarding title that I wear. And I appreciate the different phases of motherhood. From childbirth, I am a cesarean mother. I had to have an emergency C-section with my son, and I never forget when they laid him on my chest, he was just breathing uncontrollably. I was like, what's wrong with my child? Well, you know, you have those different things when you have a cesarean, and unfortunately, he had to be in the NICU the entire time we were there. So that was the first little trial and tribulation of me becoming a mother and dealing with that. But every time I would step in that NICU, I would be so encouraged because my baby was the biggest baby in the NICU. Just had some little breathing issues from how he had to be birthed. But he's almost 12, and he is the reason why I continue the journey that I'm on today. He's so encouraging, and he keeps me grounded and rooted. He keeps me busy. He keeps me on my toes, but he's really my push for why I continue to do the things that I do, and continue to just keep pushing. He really is that. So he's in his middle school years, and that has been a big transition for us. And so my journey into motherhood, it's progressing.
Oh,
It's progressing, yeah.
It's forever progression.
It's forever, like forever.
Forever progression. So Devon mentioned that you were here last September. And in full transparency, your episode holds me accountable with taking better care of myself. You talked about all the stages of self-care or levels, and really being intentional about pouring into each of those levels of self-care. And I have been very conscious about that, or I've been trying. I've been progressing, I've been working on my words too. But we want to just check in with you since that episode to see like how you're doing. I know in that conversation, we all talked about things that were going on in life and how it has or did impact our self-care and the awareness of that. But when you just reflect on the past year and the practice that you do, like how have things evolved for you? How have things progressed for you? Are there some things that you are still working through? Like how is life?
You know what? Life is, someone told me, like, don't say life is life, and because, power and death is in our tongue. So we don't want to manifest that life is life. And we know that life is life, but it's progressing as well. So I do try to watch my words, especially as a self-care advocate, a self-care coach. Try to watch what I say. My self-care, what I like to tell people, because I want to be fully transparent, is that my self-care is always evolving. There's days where there's no self-care in sight. I ain't did nothing. And I can feel it, I can see it, and it weighs heavy on me. But my self-care since then, my voice as an educator, as it relates to self-care, has become stronger. That episode received so many views, and that held me accountable to be not just a practitioner, not just a person that talks about self-care, but also a practitioner, and helping my educator colleagues, my teacher base, find their voice in education in regards to taking care of themselves. So teachers, educators, if you are watching, take your wellness days. You have wellness days in your bank. Take your wellness days without regret. And you don't have to have any type of medical notice or anything. You just tell your boss, you're taking a wellness day. Now do it professionally. But it's evolving. I've learned some new ways to self-care. I got into the sound baths. That is just so refreshing. And it's like, it really is a weight. It just like takes a really heavy weight and load. I never forget going to one of my girlfriends who's also a wellness provider. Her name is Aria. Shout out to Aria Sanders. She's also Teachers Bay yoga and meditation coach, and she holds these spaces every month called Women in Wellness. And every month she has these wellness vendors come in, and she has people that are just on a healing journey. I like to tell people I'm always on a healing journey. And I was introduced to sound bath, and I remember going into one of the Women in Wellness one month, and I was so heavy. I had so much going on that particular day. I'm also a doctoral candidate, and I just had so much. I was writing all day. I was working on teacher-based stuff, and I was so heavy, but I couldn't let her down. I needed to be in that space to support her, but also to fill my own bucket, I was just depleted. And that sound bath really did something to me. So I've attended more classes where I can have sound bath, like use that as one of my self-care practices, because it, like I said, I was so heavy and I was so depleted, but it rejuvenated me. I felt reinvigorated. And it did something to me. And at first I was like, what is this? Nah, it does put me to sleep. I think I do love that part of it, but I just feel like so, I just can just shake it off, like relax. It's a real reset. And I mean, I'm still like digging into doing some research on different self-care practices, but that's a new one. I don't think I talked about that one last year. So.
No. And I might look into
it. And then we had the live the other night, and we were able to do a sound bath. And although it was 3 minutes, it was rejuvenating. Like I was automatic, like, okay, I can really sleep it. I felt some type of calm come over me. And sometimes I have like restless nights, so they help with that. Like it has a lot of benefits. So self-care, like I don't want to just be a person that talks about it. I am a practitioner of self-care. So, and it's always evolving. I'm researching ways to become better at being a self-care practitioner, and not just for myself, but for my son as a mother. Because, when we take care of ourselves, we are healthy and whole for our children. And, oftentimes we negate that. We neglect ourselves because we're totally just pouring into our children, into our families, and we do forget about ourselves. We know that, right? So when we are taking care of our mind, body, and soul, we are creating a better space to receive and to pour into our children.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah. My first time doing the sound bath was this summer, actually, in St. Lucia. Jamie, who actually hosted us live, she did one for my with my line sisters and I.
Yes.
And it was such a healing experience.
Was.
At first, you're like, okay, what am I getting into?
Yes.
But then once you like release and let go, you feel so light and airy and refreshed after that. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
Definitely anybody who wants to give that a try, I highly recommend it.
Yes,
It was a good time.
I will be doing, because that was my first time on the live.
They have so many classes here in Atlanta.
I can only imagine. I will be signing me and Jonathan
Women in
up.
Wellness, like when that event comes around, make sure you know so you can
please.
come with me and we can
hold her accountable.
Yes,
Yeah, please.
I am. Yeah.
I know you will.
I got you,
I
sis.
know you will. I know you will.
I got you.
So speaking of self-care, you host a self-care con every year. And this is your second annual event, which we are very proud of. We also will be on the panel.
Yes.
And so
So excited.
Yeah. What are your hopes? What are you most proud of? What are your growing pains?
Yeah.
What have you learned from last year, from this year? Tell us all about it.
So this year is very special to me because not only is it the second annual Back to School Self-Care Con, I like to say it like that. It's also my 5th year. Teacher Bay was birthed in 2019, so it's also Teacher Bay's 5-year anniversary. So I'm so excited to share this space and hold this space for educators to reset and to rejuvenate and to relax, to let their hair down, but also to celebrate 5 years of something that was birthed in the most devastating year of my life in 2019. So when my world was like shattered and coming down, it was so dark and depressing, Teacher Bay was birthed, and that was my just mojo to keep going. So when I reflect and I think about that, and I think about this day and age and Teacher second annual Back to School Self-Care Con, I must say, like, hard work truly does pay off. You have to trust the process. You have to relax. You have to self-care, because if you don't self-care, that mental aspect is going to be all over the place. So you can't trust the process if you're not doing the work. Faith without works is dead. So you have to put in the work. And what is the work for me is self-care. So as I reflect on 5 years ago and now, I'm literally having what I like to say, the most anticipated event for teachers. A self-care con where it's empowering and life-changing, and it's amazing. And I must say that the success of Teacher Bay, the Back to School Self-Care Con, it really depends on the support. When people believe in your vision and they see you out here doing the work and living, walking the walk and walking the talk and all that great stuff, they believe in it. And it's, for me, it feels so refreshing for people to believe in the vision that God gave me before 2019. That's just when it was birthed. And to see that, it's like seeing is believing, but it's just in this day and age where social media like makes everything confetti and so real, like it's just life-changing in itself to understand that the vision that God gave me, to see it come alive and people really believe in it. That's what keeps Teacher Bay going. That's why this is the second annual Back to School Self-Care Con. And then I have a group of amazing people. I have an amazing PR manager, my sister, who literally holds me accountable, and she puts me in these spaces where to grow and expand Teacher Bay beyond the classroom, but the marketing side of it, and being able to have partnerships. And these partnerships and things that we get for this event, these are self-care things that help teachers that have no idea about self-care, don't know where to start. Like, she brings that vision to life so that people can really enjoy their self-care. And I have my OG Teacher Bays that are hands all in. They're all helping. Hey, how can I help? What can I do? Then I got the real Mama Pod that say, hey, we want to help bring awareness too. So of course we want to be on your panel. Of course we want to, because one thing about Back to School Self-Care Con, I like my panel to be with educators, and not a classroom educator, not a school system educator, but educators from all walks of life. Because self-care looks different for everybody, right?
It does.
So we want to see how self-care looks for a business owner, a fitness owner, a therapist, a sports agent, a podcast owner. We want to see how self-care looks, because with all those different walks of life, it's so empowering for teachers to understand, okay, so everybody is using self-care. So this is just all the things that go through my head when I'm planning it and I think about it and say, hey, yes, it's hard work. Yes, I am tired, super tired. But the smiles and the excitement and all the feedback that I get every year, and people are so excited to be a part of it this year. It's like, hey, we're coming back. Like, that makes me so excited. Now, there's a lot of things that I can work on, because I am the biggest procrastinator. Let's just be honest here. But I'm a get it done type of girl. Like, I really am. And thank God, I'm literally running off of God's strength and self-care. But I just told Brandon that I was going to next year, God is going to bless me so well that I'm going to be able to hire a staff to like delegate these tasks, like social media. I did all that. Y'all have seen, I've done all of that.
Yeah, you did.
The PR background with my sister has done all of that. So it's like being a 2-woman team. And then with the support of like my dev committee, all my people and my planner, shout out to Nia. King Designs. But y'all, it has been a lot of work, but I'm excited that it's about to be here. And next year will be even greater, because I will have a fully staffed team to help push things out.
There we go. We get it. Trust.
We sure do.
We
and
get
that's
it.
a part of your boundaries and your balance. That's a part of me being balanced and educated. You got to delegate. You know, sometimes I have a hard time delegating, because I'm just like, if you want something done right, you just gotta do it.
Just go ahead. I would just go ahead and do it.
But I got people that I can trust, and not only that, y'all, I'm so big on like who really believes in my vision. I don't want just anybody on my team. Are we aligned? Are our lives aligned? Because you don't want different spirits.
Yeah.
Surrounding your baby.
Yeah.
Surrounding what you have that God has given you. This Teacher Bay is not Applemania thing. It's a God thing. So he's just using me to empower beyond the classroom. So there's a lot of like successes. But I took a lot of silent L's, that I don't talk about either. But it's a part of the life. It's a part of the lifestyle. And truly, it's amazing, because it's a part of the journey.
Yeah.
I love that.
And there are obviously a lot of positive things that happen with being the founder of both Teacher Bay and the Self-Care Con, but also there are some L's that you just talked about. How has being the founder of both of these spaces impacted your self-care? Like, has it pushed you to be more intentional about it because of your brand, or have you had moments where you've neglected your self-care because you're pouring so much into your brand that you care so much about?
Yeah, for sure. So totally transparent. Like, September is Self-Care Awareness Month, and I'm trying to push out a most anticipated event for teachers. And I've took a whole week of not working out. Now, y'all, I am continuously on my workout journey. I'm continuously working, on my workout journey. So it's up and down, up and down. And I was like, girl, you ain't been to the gym all week. That is your self-care. That's where you elevate your dopamine, you release your endorphins. And that's one of my favorite self-cares. I talked about it last year. And yes, I was pushing Teacher Bay Back to School Self-Care Con so much. The content, it's tiring. It's a lot of work. Like, physically and emotionally and mentally, it's draining, And they say there's good stress and bad stress. I do believe it is good stress, but it also takes away from me, because I just was so fatigued. I just had been feeling so fatigued this month. And I had just like, girl, you have got to get some energy. My eating habits were piss poor. Like, Chick-fil-A had my money. I even ordered McDonald's one time. I was like, girl, you tripping, but hey, it's okay. But because I wanted to be so successful, I did find some time where I was like, you got to do better. You're neglecting yourself, and you're out here telling people self-care, but you're not even taking care of yourself. And honestly, I had to snap back. I text my trainer. I was like, hey, brother, I'll be back next week. He was like, good stuff, sis. Like, I just needed a mindful moment.
Sometimes you got to take a break.
I got it back. I had to bring myself back so I could be healthy and whole when this event does come around, which is tomorrow. I'm so happy.
We're excited too.
Yes,
Yay.
we're excited
We are.
too. But it's good that you acknowledge that.
Oh, for
because
sure.
sometimes we can't even acknowledge it. So the fact that you acknowledged it and then held yourself accountable, that's important.
Yeah.
So like you always say, self-care is not perfect.
No.
It's progression and
Yes.
forever evolving.
Yes.
And so that is all you can do is be like, okay, you know what? I didn't get it done this week, but next week I'm on it. And then you put accountability on yourself by
Yes.
texting your trainer.
Yes.
So that's
And
really
sending
good.
him that coin.
that part too.
Because that's really the
That's the-
accountability
Yeah.
piece.
Correct.
It's
Girl,
like,
you
I
done
didn't pay for
man,
this.
you better go.
Yeah, you better go. You better not waste that
But
money.
yeah, I'm at a space in my life, in my big age. Like thank you, Lord. Like I'm about to be in my last year of my 30s, and I'm at peace. One thing that I have learned in these, and I would say these last 5 years, because it's been a very transformational time period. I'm at peace with being at peace. Do y'all understand that? That means whatever it takes. If it means for me to take a break from something, if it means for me to say no to something, if it means for me to have a mindful moment, that peace it really sets me free. We're so like we hold our own self captive in bondage because we're trying to do the most. And we find ourselves neglecting ourselves, and just because we can't say no, we just got to do it. But my peace is saying, no, I just can't right now. I just can't do it right now. And in that moment where I took a break from the gym, I was like, I'm not in the mental capacity to come. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to just keep doing boot camp. I'm not going to weight train. I got to do both, y'all. But anyways, I was at peace for a month of not going to the gym and training. I was at peace with myself. I was like, I'm cool. I'm going to take a break. But then I was like, no, I'm neglecting. I'm starting to feel it like heavy. And I need, this is my self-care. Apples, this is your self-care. Get back in the gym. So I had that reflection moment. But I didn't beat myself up because I'm always I told y'all at the beginning of the segment, it's power in our words. So for me, I always say, you're not going to feel bad about this, taking a break, because it's progression, not perfection. So the more I tell myself that, the more I'm at peace. And I feel it's a part of my healing. I feel so healed. And I don't feel bad. So peace is everything. I'm at peace with it right now.
Sometimes you need those breaks.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's like I
like-
can't. Sorry. I have to for my own mental and physical well-being.
Yes.
I need a break from whatever the
Yes.
circumstances.
Amen.
Yeah, that was good.
And it's okay
I'm
with
at
sitting in
peace.
that.
Yes, I'm at peace.
So when we think about a mother who is not taking care of herself.
Y'all want to
And
do this again?
Yes,
Yes,
we
we
do.
have to.
Because this is a reminder for us too. Because what you shared last year might look completely different than this year.
Yeah, for sure.
What are some sure signs that not even just a mama, but a being, a person, like what are some signs that they are not taking care of themselves?
Mamas, y'all know that gut health that we say this is like our baby weight. That ain't no baby weight. That's stress. That's called gut health. And how do I know? Because I experienced it firsthand. Had to go see a specialist doctor because my gut health was completely off. And that's where I was carrying all my stress. It was not, my child almost 12 years old. There ain't no baby fat. That's stress fat. So I started juicing and looking and researching the benefits like juicing and things that will help support my gut health. But the main thing, in order for us to regulate our nervous system, to alleviate that stress, we have to be at peace. Because when you're not regulating that nervous system, your hair start falling out. You start getting those raccoon looking black things up under your eyes. And I'm like, girl, what's happening? Those bags and those dark spots, wrinkles, you're holding all this weight in your stomach. Y'all, that's stress. We have to regulate our nervous system. And how do we do that? We find peace. Well, how do we find peace? And doing things that relaxes us, and doing things that makes us happy. They said, what is self-care? Something that makes you happy. But it's a consistent habit and practice. Now, you just can't go in the sauna and say, oh, yes, oh, I feel so good. Yes, but you got to continuously do that. Consistently do that, because when you don't, you start gaining weight. Your hair start falling out. You start having headaches. That was another thing for me, y'all. I was like, Lord Jesus, what's happening? Am I, like, is something about to happen to me? No, just
It's a stress.
Not
taking
some stress is inevitable.
Yeah.
Let's just face it.
Yeah,
Like,
let's be real.
it really is. So it's just some things are out of your control, but the things that you can control it. Try to control it. But the things that you can't, what I have learned, again, I'm going back to my piece, I need a break. Yeah. Oh, well, I can't fix that right now. I am a solutionist. Let me be clear. I'm a solutionist, but I can't solve all my problems, So I have to release it. And when I release it, and I'm spiritual, like I believe in God. So when I let God take over the wheel, like Jesus take the wheel, then the stress is gone. I don't feel it. I'm at peace. Like y'all don't understand. Being at peace is so important. That's how we regulate our nervous system, by being at peace. Oh, well, if it is. Oh, well, if it ain't. Lack of better words. But just being at peace. And
so what steps did you take to have this peaceful lifestyle that you have curated for yourself?
Yeah. So what steps did I take? First of all, I had to realize that things look different for me between 2019 and now. So I had to just find a space where I had to tell myself, look, you're so depleted, you're not even like taking care of your child to your full capacity like you need to do. So you're going to have to pick yourself up and figure this out. Thank God Teacher Bay was birthed in 2019. That kept me busy, right? That kept me focused. That was my 15-year anniversary at FAMU. Like, I had a lot of stuff going for me to keep me busy. So it was really when I knew about self-care before 2019, but I really didn't know about self-care until I needed it the most. And those were the basic steps to keep me, like, from being depressed. I fell in a depression state, and I didn't even know that because I wasn't seeing a therapist at that time. So as the years progressed, and 2019 versus 2024, I've been seeing my therapist for 2 years now, consistently. I've been working out, taking care of myself. When you look good, you feel good. I get my hair done every 2 weeks. Like, I'm starting to do better with my finances, because at one time my check was just for like, let's play, let's do, But when you're left with figuring things out on your own, and you got to figure it out, you got to put some things into perspective. So progression, like, you got to take baby steps. Don't try to do everything self-care at once. You just got to take steps and and be at peace with what you can, and be at peace with what you can't. So
yeah. That's good.
That
was real good.
So if there's a mom that's listening and she's like, I don't know what to do, like, I have no idea how to start self-care, like, what are some tips that you would offer her to start her self-care journey?
So there's
routine.
Yeah, there's 5 domains that I typically talk about. Again, my nonprofit is Teacher Bay Balance and Educating Incorporated, and we seek to help teachers prioritize their self-care. But we also seek not just teachers, but educators, mothers, professionals. So I like to make sure that people are aware of what self-care is. So it's a consistent habit or practice. Is something that you do that really makes you happy, and that just gives you peace. But there's 5 domains that I particularly study, and that's your physical self-care, that's your emotional self-care, that's your mental self-care, that's your spiritual self-care, and your social self-care. Okay, so you pick one of them. As a mother starting out, you pick one of them, and I would definitely say physical, a light walk, a jog, a night routine, like finding a good skincare product that you can really get into, and it's beneficial for your skincare, because that helps relieve the stress too. But something very basic, like tapping into those domains, but finding a domain that you really need to regulate, because you've just been having a hard time balancing that. So if it's trying to find balance and like, oh, I want to work out, well, let's just start with some bare minimum stuff. YouTube has different type of workouts and things that you can do. There's so many apps The ClassPass app, that's the app that I wanted to speak about the other day. The ClassPass is top tier. So for a mother that's just starting out and they need some tips on how they can self-care, ClassPass is an amazing app. It gives you all of these self-care type of businesses that really supports like Pilates, facials, sauna. Girl, I mean, I can keep going on and on. But I would say start small because, again, it is progression, not perfection. Tap into one of those domains. Social self-care is my favorite. I like to just go fine dine with my girls, dress up, and go have a good night out on the town over dinner and drinks. That is like so like bare minimum self-care, but it's a start, right? And it's something that we can all tap into. So like a new mom or a mom that's trying to figure life out, understand what self-care is. Know the 5 domains of self-care. Tap into one, do one at a time and figure it out, and then get into a consistent habit and practice so that it becomes a lifestyle and not just a hashtag.
Oh,
okay. You dropping more quotes.
You stay with
a lifestyle, not a hashtag.
Yeah, I like that.
I guess that's why I'm a first grade teacher too. I gotta keep those first graders busy.
I bet you do. I bet you do. So, to that mama who's listening, what do you want her to take away from this interview?
Progression, not perfection. I know you just became a new mother and you're trying to figure out life. You're trying to navigate life. In order for that baby to be healthy and nurtured, you got to take care of yourself, mama. Give yourself some grace, you know? Get you a support, get you a village, and delegate tasks. It's okay. That baby know you his mama or her mama. We know that's your baby, but don't neglect yourself. Be kind, be gentle. Progression, not perfection.
Love that.
I'm going to be using that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Because I think sometimes when we think about self-care, we try to do it all.
Yes.
And we start from the top.
Yes.
It's like, no, let's build up to it. Let's
My friends were like, you do too much self-care. Like, you need to relax. I said, I did do a lot today, huh?
Ain't nothing wrong with loving on yourself a little extra.
For real.
Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, definitely just build on what you have. Look around. Start building your routines. Start from there, and then do all the glamorous stuff that you want to do. Not that I'm saying you can't do it, but sometimes you get overwhelmed with just thinking about the self-care piece. So
it sounds,
it
can
should
feel like
be
another
hard.
task.
It should be easy.
It should be easy and it should be enjoyable. That's what self-care is, something that makes you happy.
Yeah.
It could be a hobby.
Yeah.
Like in Atlanta, there's so, like, I like to tell people Atlanta is like, they were like, Atlanta's not a real place. Yes, it is. You just got to tap into the real things. And there's so much for mamas to do to employ self-care habits into their daily lives. There is so much. Like, I came across a sip and soil. Did y'all see that?
Oh, I've seen all kinds of sips.
Oh, my goodness. Even if you don't have a green thumb, like, that is so creative. Like, that's a little social self-care you can, you know, you can do, you know. But it's just so much. It's just so much around us. You just got to find time and take time and do it.
It's really that
like
part.
Nike tell us, just do it.
Okay.
It's not hard.
Get you another quote.
I know. Right. Well, thank you.
Yeah,
of course.
Thank you. As always, it's always great to have you on, and it's just so refreshing and to give us that reminder, holding us accountable. And so with that, if anybody want to follow you or find you, ask you questions, learn more about Teacher Bay, where can they find you?
My website is www.teacherbayinc.org. But if you want to follow us on social media, you can find us and follow us at Teacher Bay Inc. That's for Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and TikTok.
Okay. I love it.
All right.
Well, all that Teacher Bay talk, it's time for a drink. We'll be drinking.
Yes.
Oh, that's you saying it's time for a drink.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, for those of you listening for the first time, Mama Juice is my favorite segment of the show. It is where we curate drinks based on our guests. And, you know, Mama, she needs a cocktail here and there.
Yes, she does.
And, yeah, so Applemania, because she is our self-care queen, she also made sure that we knew what she liked to drink. And we're actually drinking the same beverage that we had from your last episode. One, because it is a good drink.
It is.
But two, we know that you love this drink. Like, you knew straight up, this is what I like, the type of tequila, the measurements, here it is.
This is she.
So it is the same drink ingredient wise, but we did title it something differently. And it's called It's All About Me.
Oh,
Because it is all about me. When I think about my self-care journey, it is about me and my progression.
Yes.
So we have 1.5 ounces, or excuse me, we have a half an ounce of freshly squeezed lemon, 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup, 3 ounces of reposado tequila. Not 2, not 1.5. But 3.
Don Julio feeling.
Yes. Oh, and Don. It's specifically Don
luxurious. You want to have a good night sleep.
With these 3 ounces, y'all. These 3 ounces, and she said for an extra flair, add some blueberries.
Yeah.
So let me tell y'all how I tried to do this today. So at first, I was like, "Oh, we can add some strawberries to this drink." And when I started making a drink, I said, pause. Let me see if she likes strawberries first. I said, "You like strawberries?" She said, "No." I said, "Okay." So we have our All About Me. It's all about me without the berries today, and it is still very refreshing. She usually uses blueberries.
Yes.
No,
Love it.
Yes. And if you are a mocktail drinker, you can have the same beverage. Just use lemonade, no tequila, and it's still very good.
It is refreshing. Yes. Cheers to that.
Cheers to you.
Clank, 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 clank,
And
clank,
it's
clank,
all
clank.
about me
All about
and
me.
you and your
All
self-care.
about me.
I love that. So our next segment is Mama's Corner, and this is our opportunity to connect with our guests further, our listeners, if they write in. If you ever want to write into Mama's Corner, you can write us at mama@therealmamapod.com. And so sometimes we may ask an additional question, and then sometimes we may answer a question that someone wrote in. And so you mentioned about being in a dark place and how you got out of that dark place. And so what steps did you take to get to where you are today?
The steps that I first of all, I needed my village. You know, I had to speak out. I had to tell somebody what I was going through. Thankfully, I had my sisters. I never forget. They called me, and they had been calling me, and they finally figured out where I was in the house in the dark on the floor, just there. And once I felt so relieved once my sisters, my best friends, my safe space knew what I was going through, and they flew up to Atlanta. And I'm very private, so like I don't like people in my business, and I try to keep to keep things nice. So once I was able to tell someone so close as my sisters and my family, like I felt the healing already taking place. So you got to have your village. Don't be afraid to speak out. Don't be afraid to talk about what you're going through with a professional. Then my next step was to get a therapist, and I did, who encouraged me a lot on this journey. And then, of course, self-care became the light of my life. It gave me I got a new attitude. I started feeling myself. I was like, okay, so yes, this is what self-care is about. I started pouring into me, realizing that, hey, you can't change the situation, but you can change this. You can change you in the situation. So how I did that was by adopting some self-care practices that made me feel good not from literally the inside out.
Right.
Because it's not about the outer, it's about what you feel in the inside. And I was hurt. I was dark. I was depressed. So I had to pull myself out of that rut. So I just can say God's strength alone, my family, being able to talk to a professional about what I had going on. And last but not least is looking at my kid and seeing that I wanted him to see me in a better light. I didn't want him to see me always dark and sad and always questioning, Mama, what's wrong with you? Why are you in the closet crying? And why are you doing this? I had to show up for him. So those were my go-to. So you got to start somewhere. And of course, it has evolved like 5 years later. And I'm really like at a nice peak in my life. And I thank God for that, because I have had lots of successes in this time. And during this journey, navigating motherhood and how that looks, by myself. So, yeah.
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 Shout out to you.
Yeah.
Shout out to
showing up
you.
for yourself and for your baby.
For sure.
So, that was
It's all
good.
about
Thank you for
progression.
that.
It's
All about progression.
not perfection.
Well, we are super excited for tomorrow.
Yay.
And this was a great episode as always.
It
and
was.
can't wait to continue the partnership that we've created.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, this our
is
girl.
awesome.
I'll be back, y'all. Have some more to talk about.
Yeah,
I will be back. I thank y'all. Y'all are my sisters for life. I appreciate this space that y'all afford women like me, myself, to share our stories and to like come together. Like this is camaraderie and it's healing.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
it is.
It's an experience, I like to say. And
Okay.
so I appreciate you girls so
Experience.
much.
We appreciate you too. I'm telling you, your self-care episode really pushed me to be more intentional about
I
taking
can tell.
care
I told y'all the other
myself.
day. I said, "Oh, my girls been on in their self-care era, real bad," and I love that for y'all.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you
I
for
do.
pushing us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we slide,
Yes.
I want to shout out people who've been taking care of us.
Yes.
So, number one, our SC Content House family.
Yes.
They have set us up well today. We look good.
Yes.
We feel good. We have been rocking it all day.
Yes.
And we could not have had this day be as successful as it's been without their support. So I want to shout out our SC Content House family.
Yes.
Second, Brandon, our Just Create the Brand director, who is the face behind all the cameras that you see. We definitely want to shout him out and thank him for making us look beautiful and do and feel comfortable and confident in all the things that we do in front of these cameras. So shout out to Just Create the Brand. If you are looking for a videographer, a director of some sort, he is your guy. Thorough, great quality, and he takes great care of us.
Yes.
So I wanted to shout them out.
Yes, because we are very happy, and you would have none of this if it wasn't for them. So
Yes.
Beauty
yeah.
beat face.
Yes. Shout out to Katura,
Yes.
our lovely makeup artist who got all of us beat today.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
you.
yes.
Well, this concludes our episode.
It
Until
does.
next time, mamas. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.